morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us here today. My name's Katie Earle. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the coordinator of the University Express program, and I work for the Erie County Department of Senior Services. And we're joined here virtually today with Jill Bronsky with Forward Fitness. Welcome, Jill.
Welcome. Thank you.
Of course, we appreciate you being here. Before we jump into her presentation, we have some new folks on today, which is wonderful. So I will quickly breeze through our housekeeping. We are recording this session and I will try to post it on our website in the near future so you can check it out and tell your friends about it. If you have any questions throughout Jill's presentation today, we'll be communicating with you through our Q&A panel, and you'll find that located at the lower right-hand side of your screen if you're on a computer. Just click on that Q&A panel with the question mark box. You'll see the text box. You can send your questions right to me, or you might have to press enter on your keyboard, and depending on your laptop. I learned that yesterday. And if you're on a tablet or smartphone, touch your screen. That brings up your control panel. Then you'll see the button that has three dots. Click on that and then you'll see your Q&A. So we hope you participate with us today. And you are muted and without your video showing. It's not because you've done anything wrong. It's just because those are the settings for our program. So we'd like to thank the sponsors of our program, which is my Department of Senior Services, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Western New York, Excelsior Orthopedics, and Wegmans for all their support. And if you ever need anything or you're not sure where to start with Senior Services because we're at 858-8526. We'll do whatever we can to help you out. Now let's learn about our speaker. Jill Bronsky is the founder of Forward Fitness Incorporated with over 30 years of experience in the fitness industry. She received a Master's of Science degree from Canisius College in Physical Education and a personal training certification through AFAA. She holds several other exercise certifications, including Functional Aging Exercise Specialist and Rapid Movement Training through Functional Aging Institute. Jill is the best-selling author of the book, Keeping Your Parents Active and Independent. Her expertise in the area of exercise training and reducing fall probability has made her a leader in functional fitness for older adults. We're super happy to have her. Jill, the floor is yours.
Yay!
Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Katie. You're the best. Thank you for having me today. As I mentioned, today we're going to talk about in-home activities for improving quickness of movement, speed, and increasing strength. So hopefully you're ready to go and everybody's ready to get started. I'm going to start, that's the introduction slide, and let's continue on. Katie told you a little bit about myself. I actually want to show the pictures so you can get exactly what Katie's talking about. I do a lot of different types of activities specifically for older adults. I do group exercise classes. I do personal training, small personal training groups, and individuals where I work with people at home. And I got to tell you, I started working with the personal training and I see such changes in people and such confidence people start to give. It's a huge change and I really enjoy seeing that. And that's sort of the reason why I've been in the field for so long, because I really do feel I make a difference in people's lives. One of the other activities I do is I do presentations like I'm doing today. And with the changes going on, I'm not at the facilities. Most of my activity is taking place online. The other thing I did is I wrote a book called Keeping Your Parents Active and Independent. And I did that, just a few years ago, and put that out and talked about different activities people can do at home once again, and why it's so important to keep on moving and be functional. One of the things mentioned, I am a certified functional aging specialist, and I'm very grateful for this organization. When I started, like 20 or almost 30 years ago, no one was doing training with older adults. It wasn't something that was normal. People were scared to work with older adults. They thought they were going to fall. Exercise programs were sitting in a chair only. And finding information of exercise for older adults was very challenging. And this organization has made a huge difference in my life and other people's. So if there's people out there that are members of FAI or do activities, it's something to be known. There are groups out there working. The older adult population is growing, and there's just a lot of things happening in this field. So I just wanted to let you know about that. Now, one of the things that I do is, you saw the stuff that I do, is that people don't realize, they think they're getting older and I'm going to fall, I'm going to get weaker. I mean, that's just part of the aging process. Aging is mandatory. Every year we have a birthday and every year we get older, but growing old is optional. We don't have to fall. We don't have to, have trouble carrying items because they're too heavy. We can do so many different things. And that's what I'm here to tell you today and what we're going to be focusing on. But I just enjoy watching people move and feel better and being able to do everyday activities on their own. So that is something that, when I teach classes, and it's very hard when you're in a group exercise class with older adults because you get somebody that's 70, and 70 could be anything over the spectrum because people are so different. One 70-year-old could be moving and fast and going, and another 70 could be very sedentary, really doesn't want to move. So age doesn't really matter. I think what they say, 70 or 80 is the new 60. So whatever you can do, we got to keep moving and keep doing things. Now, there are essential exercise components. And the two we're going to be focusing on is muscle strength, being able to lift weights, resistance bands, increasing your strength to do everyday activities better. The other one we're going to be focusing on is muscle speed. And we're going to be talking about fast and slow twitch fibers. I don't usually talk about really technical type things, but it's something you just really need to be aware of. So we're going to be talking about speed and going faster. The other areas you just need to be aware of is joint mobility. I do training for Arthritis Foundation and a lot of joint mobility where the bones meet and tissues and ligaments. We lose elasticity and we get very stiff. So that's something that needs to be worked on. Sensory stimulation, all different kinds of senses, taste, smell, vision. When I do balance training, I'm very careful. Safety is number one. But I'll do sometimes a squat where we squat down, bending both knees towards the chair, and I help people close their eyes. And when I do that, it changes the senses. It's something that maybe in a dark room, you get to feeling what it's like. It changes things. So sensory, changing things, smell really makes a difference. Balance, there's static, which is standing in place, and dynamic, which is moving. Life is mobile. A lot of times people fall from moving, and we work on different ways. One of the classes I teach is called FLEE. It's called Functional Living Everyday Exercises. And during this exercise class, I have people step on things, go around things. We challenge our balance as we move. I have people stand behind their chair and we do shifting. We do as shifting forward, sideways, all different things to challenge our balance. Gait enhancement is huge. That is the way that we walk. Our legs, all different types of things. So these are really important. And one thing that you need to know when someone says, oh, I need to work on my balance, that is incorporating everything I'm talking about. When we all together, we train balance by doing all these different things. So once again, today, our focus is on muscle strength and muscle power and speed. So here we go. Are you ready? We're going to be doing speed and strength. And this is so important. We're just going to be talking about lower extremities. As you can see from the pictures, here we go with strength, the two top pictures. You have somebody going up and down the stairs. I can't even tell you how many people don't want to do the stairs anymore. Their legs get very weak. They don't want to do that, but you need to keep the legs strong. I one time had somebody that wanted to visit their mom and dad or their son, and he had stairs to go up the house. So that was something that they wanted to prepare to get up and down the stairs so they could go visit their son, and so they could get into their house. So that's something we work on. In and out of the car, strength, that lifting motion, get in and out of the car. Once again, I worked in independent living facilities where the kids would pick up their mom, want to take them somewhere. Well, what's happened is over the months and weeks, their legs maybe got weak and they had trouble getting in and out of the car. That's when I come in and say, you know what, we need to do activities to get those legs strong because they get scared. They don't want their mom or dad to fall, so because they start getting weak. There are things that you can do to improve yourself. A lot of it's from disuse. It's not from just getting older, which there are problems that occur as we get older, but a lot of it's from disuse, not doing everything. And we want to get better and stronger. Now, when I talk about speed, people have a whole different thing. I don't need speed. Yes, you do. What about this person crossing the street? If a car is coming and you have to move fast, you want to be able to move quickly across the street. How about this one for you? Getting out of the chair. Well, now you got to get out of the chair and go to the bathroom, right? The restroom. You need to go fast. You need speed to get out of the chair. That's what I'm talking about when we talk about speed. Everyday functional, see, I put fun, F-U-N, functional tasks. Okay, so try to make it fun, but we're going to be going through the strength and speed of lower extremities. Here's an example of muscle strength, and just to let you know, we lose muscle. It's just part of the plan as we get older, 10% per decade. What is interesting though, we even lose speed and power more rapidly. Now, after age 50, 10% with strength. We even start to lose strength at age 30, not as rapidly. Age 70, we lose even more. So we need to get that back. We lose muscle and power, the speed, I mean speed even greater than we do strength. Okay? It has such an impact on our life that we need to make sure that we work on speed. No one talks about speed. They always talk about strength. I was in the field of fitness and we talked about aerobics, and strengthening and muscles, and we got to work that stuff. But there's such a thing with speed. I'm going to show you about muscle, and this is a quadricep you can see on the side here. And you can see how the muscle starts to atrophy, and sarcopenia was something I used to talk about, the loss of muscle, and that was huge. We need to get stronger, and we do, because that helps us with speed, but that's not the only thing. So I just want to make you aware that speed and muscle strength are both very, very important for functional fitness. Okay, so here we go. Once again, why do I need to think about speed? You're probably still thinking, I'm not a football player. I don't need speed. I'm not a basketball player. I don't need to go up and down the court, or a hockey player. I don't need to run around the bases. I'm not a car. I don't need to go fast. Yes, you do. Not in these type of ways, but you need to think about speed, and nobody really thinks about it. So I'm here today to help you think about it. Even in my classes, I just want you to be aware, we're going to be going through specifics and things you can actually do for speed. I have a little section. And for example, this is Ann over here, and I have her in my class. She's going in between the cones. She is having a ball. I've never seen somebody move so quick in between the cones. But right below her is this guy. I don't know who he is, but he is doing the cones also. He's training for probably football or basketball. He's doing the cones also, but their speed is probably a little bit different. So you can train for speed. I will tell you, if you have balance issues, you're not sure about yourself, don't do these, okay? You have to be in a certain sort of frame to be able to work on speed. We can start off with basic speed, but it's okay to move a little bit faster than you normally do. Once again, the ladder, you can see here's a person going through the ladder. Here's a sports person going through the ladder. We can do speed all different ways. It doesn't have to think about just as a sports athlete. Two individuals running, moving the arms, just like we are here for two individuals walking, moving the arms. When you talk about speed, you're not just talking about the lower extremities, we're also talking about the arms moving too. And I'll explain to you why it's so important. So you can move faster. Now, I just want to explain, because there's still people like, well, speed training, I don't need to do this. I can't tell you how many people, because I was one of those. I went to a seminar, I swear, about 15 years ago, and I went to a presentation talking about strength speed training. And I'm like, well, my clients aren't going to do that. People aren't going to do speed training. Why? It's sort of interesting. But you know what? I do make people go quicker. I do put people into speed type programs, and it's a huge difference. It's our ability to move across the ground and move our limbs rapidly. That's what we want to be able to do for speed training. Our society is, you see people, and I got pictures here showing people with their walkers, posture really, hunched over, and you want to be able to move quickly, to move faster. Um, and when you get to a situation, there's just an acceptance. I'm getting older, I'm not going to walk well. Well, I'm telling you that you can do things to improve yourself. And I'll be telling you every slide that you can do things to make yourself better and stronger, and do certain activities to make yourselves do activities that improve our overall physical function. The biggest thing is you want to be able to do activities of daily living. You want to be able to, cook and do things at your house and get around. When you start losing the strength and the ability in your legs, I call those front legs the thighs, the muscles of independence. And once those muscles and the legs start to get weak, you start losing your independence. You need somebody to help you. So my whole goal today is to let you know that we can do things to get you moving, and you won't, quicker and faster and better. So we're going to be talking about that today. Here we go, moving better and faster. We need to make speed training a priority. And this is going to make a difference, and say, so I'm looking at your daily life and I'm looking at a puddle. Well, how is that going to help me with speed? If you get off balance and you need to move quickly, we've all been in a situation where we have to like walk over quickly over a puddle, or you get a little off balance, you need to move quicker. That's an example of speed. Walking a dog, and you're walking along nicely, and Rover sees a squirrel. Well, they're going to take off quickly. You need to have that spark to move quickly. And that's something we're going to talk about, the spark, but you need to be able to do that. Here's a person getting out of bed. Why do I need speed? Well, if you're in bed and it's sort of dark and you need to go to the bathroom, you need to move quickly. You need to move faster and better. Just simple everyday things in life. You need to move quicker and faster. Here's that spark thing I talked about. What is that spark? That sparks the ability to move faster, to get off the couch. People lose that spark, and I want you to get it back. So what am I talking about spark? I'm going to give you a little example. You're sitting in a chair, okay? You're crossing your hands, and you get up from that chair to a full stand, okay? That I got rollers on my chair, so I can't, but you get up that first half inch. That is the spark. That initiation of getting up on the chair as quickly as you can. That first half inch is a spark. And that's what we want to keep, and that's what we want to keep on doing. Because after that initial spark, your leg strength comes into play. So we want to make sure we have that. So I'll have people go up and down from their chair as fast as they can even. And it's amazing, working on leg strength, working on that spark, getting the legs going. So it does make a difference. I had somebody one time I worked with, and she said, I was in tears. I was over at somebody's house and she couldn't get off the couch. That spark was gone. We need to get it back. So we did certain things so she didn't have that feeling. Those couches go like this. They get very low, and you don't want to be in a situation like that. So we want to make sure we get that spark right back. When is the last time you moved fast, right? We sit and watch TV at home a lot, not really moving too much. As kids, though, and you see your grandchildren, they stop and go, they play tag, they fall to the ground, they get back up. We did all these things when we were younger. And as we've gotten older, we don't move fast anymore. Why not? And I'm going to talk about the fast twitch muscle. There's certain reasons we don't, but we can still do things a little bit quicker than we normally do. What happens if we did some speed training into the 40s and 50s, and we kept on doing certain speed trainings? They're very short movements. We did something every day and did fast. Would we be better? And I don't know. I think we would be, because right now many of us do no speed training or don't work at any speed because they think it's just for football players. There is something called tachophobia. There's a phobia for everything. And there is a phobia with the fear of moving fast. People have a fear of falling and whatever, or they just don't want to move fast. And the perfect example is even walking. I love walking. I walk all the time. I go out. Everybody walks, and walking's wonderful. But that's really not going to help with speed, not helping with balance too much. It's a nice overall great activity. Go outdoors, really good. But for people who have the fear of falling, it includes driving, riding a bike, and just like walking too fast. They fear it. And we're going to try to maybe hopefully get people going a little bit faster. Now, the reason that people fear, that I think fear and have a fear of going fast, is because they have a fear of falling. The death rates of falls has increased. And I think part of that too is because our older populations also increased. But once again, I'm going to tell you again, we can do things to increase our leg strength, improve our speed, improve our balance. There's things that you can do because if you do nothing, your chances of falling are going to increase. I know people that have had a fall, it's like once you've fallen and you fear falling, you do nothing. And because you do nothing, your legs start to get weaker and you start doing more sitting. They did find out during the COVID, the whole year and everything, that the people fell, but the worst part, the falls were more serious. And it's sort of, there's a part that are like, well, people don't want to leave their house because they're scared of falling, but yet a lot of the falls occur right in the home. So we need to make sure we can do activities to increase strength, challenge balance, and but there are a lot of factors that come into balance. I mean, there's inner ear things. There could be sight problems, vestibular. There's a lot of things, drugs, medications, a lot of things come into play when we talk about falling and balance. So that's why it's so hard sometimes. But I'm here to talk about fitness and moving and exercise. So hopefully that can something that you might be interested in doing, if not already. You can start moving fast because you're probably wondering how I can start moving fast. Well, you can do the speed every single day and you can do small doses, 3 to 5 minutes. It doesn't take that long. You just don't want to be out of breath when you're doing. You want to be nice and fresh. And you can do multiple sets. You can go for 3 minutes, you rest, and then you do it again. And you just keep on doing this. It has a huge impact on physical function. And I'm going to be going through, once again, some of the things you can do. But I needed to put the slide in so you can understand when I'm saying, okay, I'm talking about speed and moving. What does that mean? It means short bouts of fast movement. There's a lot of benefits of doing these movements. Cardiovascular, you know, people think everything's just for long periods of like aerobic classes. Strength, you improve your strength through rapid movement. Hypertrophy, increasing cell growth increasing cell growth in the from muscle cell growth. Stimulates the labyrinth. That's the inner ear, and speed helps the inner ear. So with that, that's another way to do it. A huge thing for movement training is balance. And the other one is physical function, being more functional once you can move a little faster. When you're in bad posture, I just want to mention, it's very difficult to be stooped over in poor posture and try to move quickly, okay? But it can be whatever we can do, just moving a little bit quicker than maybe you normally do. Oh, here's one right here for you. Moving faster for that bathroom. How about if there's somebody that's fire? You got to be able to get out of the house quickly. So these are things you need speed for. Once again, I mentioned, so you understand a little bit better, about muscle fibers. And these are fast twitch muscle fibers. These fibers provide that quick burst of that fastness, that speed. And the problem with those fast twitch muscle fibers, we lose those. As we get older, they start to shrink in size. And that's part of the reason that we start to move slower, is because those fast twitch muscle fibers. So we need to be able to maybe work on that because they can get better. and they just don't ignite as quickly as they once did. I got people over here skipping. I'm going to talk about skipping. Skipping is really good for moving fast and recruiting those muscles, and that fast twitch burst of energy is to skip. So here we go. And there's those slow twitch muscle fibers. And the reason I'm mentioning this is something that we always talked about, like since I was in fitness forever. It was being on a piece of equipment for 45 minutes, and the marathons, and they're continuing, and these are all important. You want to do these, but it's not the only thing. The slow twitch muscles, we don't lose those like we do fast twitch muscle fibers. Okay, so if you're a long distance runner, slow twitch. If you're a sprinter going fast, igniting that spark, we use fast twitch muscle fibers. So that's the difference. And I just want you to know we lose those muscle fibers and we need to get some of it back. Supporting research for training. There has been so much research lately, more than you can imagine. And I'm sure you're going to start hearing about speed even more so. And this is functional training, being able to improve strength. They found that it makes a huge difference in functional performance, like I talked about before. Even people with some diseases like Parkinson's disease, it helps doing some speed movements. I don't know if you heard boxing. They're boxing, arms and feet moving, really good. Cognition, the brain, neuromuscular function, anything you can do to help with the cognition, as we talked about. Dementia, Alzheimer's, moving faster seems to help that. Now, I talked about arm speed, and I want to explain to you that arm speed is very important. That is your only defense if you do fall, is to catch yourself, okay? So when we train with speed, we use our arms too, okay? Not just our legs, because it's that first defense. If your arms are not quick, and you don't have that reaction time, and you don't have those fast twitch muscle fibers, you're likely going to fall on your face because you don't have anything to stop you or to help you. So when we do fast movement, we also include the arms. And you see the speed skater? They use their arms the entire time, okay? So when we train fast to get that spark back, remember? Okay? So you talked about that spark. Now we're going to go into that speed training, that what you can do for speed training. I got some pictures so you can actually see what I'm talking about. The first one's a sit to stand. And I'm going to play the video. Sometimes the videos get sort of wacky, so hopefully I'm good to go. Usually if I was in a setting, in a facility, I'd be able to show you and I'd have you do it with me. But being the situation here, I'm going to play the video and I'm going to show you what this is. But this is, you are actually sitting in a chair and you're standing up very fast. We're using our hands as we come up. And just remember that little ½ inch, that's the spark. The coming all the way up, that's the strength in the legs. So let's play it. Let's see how we do here. I'm just going to play it once and we'll go down. Up, there we go. Hands push, up and down off the chair. Yeah, good job, Jill. Oh, that's me. I never get a chance to compliment myself. But that is the sit to stand. That's fast and quick. Okay, you can see the hands are not pushing off the chair. Okay, the hands are used to give myself that speed, that fastness. And you can do that a couple sets. You can do that a couple times. Great way to work on speed. This is a basic one for work on leg strength. Really good to be able to use. The other one is the pop-up. And this is another one I really like. And I'm going to show you two different ways. First one is the introduction pop-up. And with the introduction pop-up, we just bend the arm and pop up. Bend the arms, pop up. Once you do this the other way, it's a lot of rapid movements and pop up. We're really moving fast, and it's a great way to get that opportunity to move fast. These are simple little things. You can do a couple sets of these, but this allows you, gets you in that motion of moving fast, because I told you we don't do it. Are you ready? Okay, Jill, let's see what you got. Nice and slow. This is the beginning. It's good, up and down. Yes. Now here we go. We're going to step forward, move a little bit faster. Moving those arms, moving up, pop up. Move, 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 pop up. Yes. Very good. I really been watching myself too much. It cracks me up. Okay, so you can see from the pop-up, we're using the leg strength. We're getting our legs in that position, and we're getting our arms going. Great way to move fast. Great way to get the whole body involved. Okay, here's another one for you. So you had a sit to stand, pop up. Here's the shuffle. Once again, I have an introductory shuffle just to get you moving a little bit. And then when you feel better, we can move a little bit faster. Once again, the shuffle encourages the use of the arms too. So here we go. Just nice and 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. The arms are going. Now we're going to move a little faster. I was pooped after that one. But there's a nice shuffle that you can do. That's fast, that's speed, that encourages you to move a little bit faster. The chair, you can tell the chairs are by me. Then in case if I need it, and maybe I start off with just using the legs. Then if I need it, I can grab onto the chair. The chair is close by. Once again, I would do a couple sets with that. The shuffle is great to be able to do. The next one is the high skipping. One of the skipping I would do is behind the chair, and then I would actually skip down the hall, down the house, whatever, outside. I actually did a skipping program years ago because it's so beneficial. It was at the Buffalo Zoo. I had a skipping program, and I have different points that people would skip. It challenges your balance. It works on speed. You're balancing on one leg. You get those arm movements. Great form of activity. I don't know when's the last time you skipped, but a great way to move. Once again, we're going to start behind the chair, and then we'll start moving forward. It's opposite arm, opposite leg, and that's the biggest problem people have. They start skipping with same leg, same arm. So I would start behind the chair. Once again, chair should be close by when you start. When you feel comfortable, you can move. Nice and easy. That's the beginning. Let's go. Let's skip. There we go. Yeah, down the hall, skipping. And what's so nice about that is we're skipping. You can see that balance factor come into play. You're actually on one leg for a period. We're going back and forth. We're shifting. Skipping is really good. Uses a lot of different muscles, a lot of different, the balance, a lot of things come into play here. Really like that. So hopefully those are the just quick bunches of things that you can see that you can do at home on your own to start to move quickly. You know, even you can do things for walking. We can go walk and play, you know, we can walk, and all of a sudden we can go quickly, maybe for, it's called interval training. So you're walking, and I used to do this with people. I would go walking, and then for like 3 minutes or 2 minutes, we'd walk fast. And then we go back to our walk, and then for maybe a minute, whatever you got, fast for a minute, and then go back. That's interval training that gets you moving. You don't need to walk the whole time really fast. Maybe you just do 30 seconds of interval training of going fast. Whatever you got. Explosiveness, speed, that's all that it is. Going fast for that specific time. A bike, when I'm not talking about a bike outside, I'm talking about an Airdyne bike or a bike, you know, at the gym. And these are great. Once again, I used the Airdyne bike, and these were the only bikes available. I remember when I was in the fitness field way at the beginning. They didn't have the equipment that you could use like they do now. But what's so great about this is you can use the arms too and the legs. So you go really fast for 20 seconds, and then you stop. And you can do 5 or 8 sets. Now, sports like tennis, racquetball, squash, they have those quick movements, really good too, okay? So if you can think of anything where you do quick movements that you could do, it's really good that you'd be able to do that. Okay, strength training. I have resistant bands. Now this one I have pictures for everybody. and you can see the pictures. And one of the things about strength training is I have done so many presentations on strength training. I have been all different things, and that's because it's huge. It's really big. We lose muscle as we get older, and sarcopenia was all I talked about. The loss of muscle, the loss of strength, and it's bad. I mean, you do that. We need to get strength back. I'm going to tell you, without strength, that speed is not going to work for you. So we want to make sure we do have that strength. But and I know there was an interest in resistance bands, so I'm just going to give you a couple exercises and things that you could do with strength training. So here's the benefits of resistance training. It improves the strength. It decreases your chance of injury, improve your balance, posture. It allows you to do everyday activities. You can use hand weights, you can use tubing, resistance bands, you could use the machines, all different types of activity that you can do with strength training. So you need, I'm sure a lot of people include that in their day, or they should, at least if you haven't. Now, what you should know before getting started, you always want to make sure you're lying properly. So you always want to make sure you're either sitting up or standing in neutral spine. People always ask me, should I sit or should I stand? I would suggest you standing is better because that's weight bearing, but some people can't stand. So I have another saying, something is better than nothing. So if you can't stand, sit in a chair and do some of the exercises. The one that I'm going to show you is a sitting exercise because we're going to be using our legs. Full range of motions when we do the band. You never want a hyperextended joint, a knee or an elbow. You never want to lock up when you're exercising. Always leave a slight little bend, especially if you're doing heavier weights. You don't want to move the limbs freely. You pour them slowly. So a lot of times people get the bands and they come back really fast. So we want to make sure everything is done in a nice, easy format. Color-coded resistance bands. There's different levels through the coating. The darker the band, usually the harder it is to use. So when we do our strength activities, we always sort of want to warm up the body because we don't want, our muscles are very tight, they're cold, our joints cold. We want to start warming everything up either with a marching, arm motions, whatever you got, just to get some circulation to the body. I always say like your joints are like taffy. What happens with taffy when it's cold? It snaps, it's brittle. When you warm that taffy up, it gets more pliable. That's like your joints and muscles. We want to get them all warmed up. Gripping the band, you can wrap it around any way you want to do. Breathing. I don't really, when I do these exercises, I don't make a thing about breathing. I do say, don't hold your breath. Okay. I get people that start inhale, exhale. They're really into their breathing. It's not a big deal. The weight's not that heavy or the resistance isn't that much. The biggest thing is not holding your breath, especially if you're somebody with high blood pressure. Never want to hold your breath as you're exercising. Repetitions. Number of exercises we perform is 8 to 15. You don't do like 40 repetitions of a band, keep on going 40 of them. You just go 8 to 15, maybe 20 the most. If you're getting to 20 and it's easy, that means you need a different band, a stronger band. You go back down to 8 and work up again. Sets 1 to 3. You can do 1 to 3 sets, and you rest in between 30 to 60 seconds, depending on how you feel. Days of the week, 3 to 5. Now with speed training, I mentioned you could do it every single day. Okay, with strength training, they say every other day. But speed training, you can do that every day, short bouts of speed. Now this is the exercise. I'm just going to show you 3 of them. And this one here, you're going to place the band on top of your legs. I'm showing you exactly how to do it. You grab the band underneath, and then you pull it out between your legs and you hold on to it like to the side. So the band's on the top of your legs, cross over under the legs, and then you bring the band and hold it in your hands on each side. That's how we're going to prepare these exercises. This is not a video. These are all pictures. The first one is hip abduction. This means where our feet are together and you're bringing one foot out to the side slowly. You don't want to twist your body, and you step out to the side and come back in. We start engaging our hips a little bit with these. we get very stiff in our hips because we walk like this, everything is straight ahead, and those hips can get very tight. So we want to make sure we do certain activities that can strengthen and move in the movement in the hips. And one of these is a hip abduction, okay? So we bring our leg out to the side. There's some resistance there with the band, and we bring it back to the center. Now, one of the other things I like to do is lifting the leg up. It's called pulsing. You lift the leg up off the ground. I'm doing it as I'm talking to you. And you do these tiny movements with the leg back and forth. Once again, there's resistance against the leg, and you don't let the leg touch the floor, and you go back and forth. Really great way to help work the strength. Mostly the hips here, but really good to be able to do that with the resistant bands. Now this one is a knee lift. Once again, we put the bands, we're keeping the band in place, and you might maybe bring the band a little bit tighter. You bring it up a little bit higher and tighter, but you're going to bring the knee up to the ceiling and bring it back down. Resistance in the legs and the hips as you do this. Keep on going with these. You do like 2 to 3 sets. You do your 12 to 15. Another thing you can do in the same position is pulsing. Lifting one knee up off the ground, pulsing it up and down without letting the leg touch the ground. Great way to work on leg strength. These are just very basic movements, and if you have resistance bands at your house, just an easy way to add some strength, you know, in the legs. Once again, if you don't have good leg strength, the speed is going to be a little bit more challenging, but still can be able to do that. The other one is the butterfly. This is where the feet, once again, starting in that position where both feet are straight on the floor, and you just open the knees up like a butterfly and you close them. And the other one would be, there's the pulsing again. We bring our knees quickly back and forth together quickly, and we just pulse the legs, tiny quick movements, and that's another way to be able to do that. So a great way to get those legs a little bit stronger and using the resistance bands. Lots of different things you can do with the legs, a lot of standing, some sitting activities, but these are just giving you some basic things to start off. If you have those bands, you dust them off, and you can do a couple things like this. Now, why are we the way that we are? We're just finishing up here, and I think you understand, because we've abandoned rapid movement. We've abandoned our ability to have spark, that initiation, to go fast. And we need to get that back. And we can do that by getting small doses of speed throughout life. We can be moving better and faster as we get up in the years. So I don't want you to, abandon that quick movement because say, oh, I'm older, I can't move that fast. I'm telling you, I've done training with people. I have them move faster, have them move quicker, and you can do it too. Instead of the John call, this is funny, I thought this was funny. Instead of the John, I call my bathroom Jim. This way it sounds better when I say go to the gym first thing in the morning. And I always put this little note at the bottom. Every time I do a presentation, you are not too old and it's not too late to start. And here's a couple guys having a great time showing what they got. So hopefully all of you will maybe do a little movement, a little quicker movement in your life, add some strength training, and get moving. That's it. That's all I got.
Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome, Katie.
I love your energy and your jokes and your passion.
Oh, good. The problem is when I do my jokes, I'm the only one laughing at myself.
Promise you I was laughing. I was
Okay,
muted.
I feel better. I know what everybody else is doing, but it's hard if you make little things and I'm laughing and nobody else is.
And you know what? At the end of the day, if you make yourself laugh, that's all that matters.
I do often. Yes, I do.
Well, we've got some good questions here,
Okay,
so let's jump
sure.
in. The first one is, what recommendations can you give to encourage loved ones to move? How do you motivate someone who is comfortable just sitting?
Well, you could buy my book. It's on Amazon. That is a huge problem, getting people to move. And because I've dealt with a lot of the training I worked with, it's the kids. They're calling me up saying, I need my mom and dad to get moving. And it's very challenging to get people that are sitting all day. It almost hurts. It almost hurts to get moving when you haven't done. I'm a big believer in small movements, doing little things at a time. So once again, there's that walking thing. Get them walking more, getting them doing more. You know, when you think of exercise, sometimes people have this thing of going to the gym, and that's just overwhelming for them. Or I need to walk around the block. It's overwhelming for them. So I would have them start doing little things, even around the house. Some people have aides at the house. Some people, they're just sitting a lot. They don't want to cook. Have them do little things to get moving, and then you add to them. Sometimes there's issues of they're having pain. Physical therapy is a great way, but the problem with physical therapy, it runs out. Getting them a trainer, somebody to work with, but there's different things that you can do to get them little movements and not giving them so much. Some people feel, you know what, it's all or nothing, and it's not the way.
Thanks, Jill. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, good.
Next is skipping safe for someone with osteoporosis of the spine?
Yes and no. Those people with osteoporosis have to be very careful. Okay. First of all, we don't want to do something where you fall, because your bones are not sort of weak, and we don't want to cause any problems by skipping. Once again, you have to know your limits and what you can do. I would say somebody stand behind the chair and do little movements, some weight bearing. You know, anything you do standing is really good. So maybe a little movement behind the chair with a lifting. I tell people, you know, opposite hand touching the opposite, you know what I mean? And that's not even skipping. That's just a leg lift. But it's the same movement. It's forcing you opposite hand. It's forcing you to lift up the leg. So I would start off behind the chair, holding on, and then I'd let go, and then I would do opposite touching, and then go from there. But that's something, you know, all levels of people's, when you say osteoporosis, it covers all people with balance issues. You could get somebody with osteoporosis that's got really good balance, and I would say, yeah, you know what? It's not a bad thing. Or somebody who's got osteoporosis that's just really poor balance, not a lot of strength. That's a problem. So that's why it's so hard to say, you know what? You got to see where you are and what you have. But the more you can do, my biggest thing is limitations. People put limitations on themselves because of what they have and don't do anything. And that's not, you still can do stuff. You just have to figure it out, or have somebody help you figure it out.
Thanks, Jill.
Yeah.
Next we have, how about pickleball instead of tennis?
Oh, pickleball instead of tennis. You know, people see that small courts and they go, I can do that. I'm going to tell you, the physical therapists and the orthopedic doctors love pickleball. They really do, because there has been a lot of injuries. I mean, it's a great way to move. I mean, you're stopping and going, but once again, that's stopping and going. If you have knee issues, not a good idea. There's turning and moving. If you're not in good shape and you haven't done anything, I call them weekend warriors, and you go out and say, I'm going to go play pickleball. I haven't done anything. Your chances of getting injured are really good. Do you remember that circuit training that people would go to? I'm trying to think, that I can't remember the name of it. Those little things you go around. There were more injuries because people think it was going to be so easy to go out and do that. You sort of have to get yourself in a little shape before you just go out and play pickleball. But comparing it to tennis, they're both good. I mean, they're both good. I think people feel pickleball is a little bit easier to learn and play. I've done it. I've never done the scoring. I heard the scoring is a little bit challenging.
I don't understand it yet either. We have someone that's wondering, what is a set? So maybe if you could just
Okay.
explain that, please.
Okay, sure, no problem. So if I was to do an exercise with the bands, and say I've got my hand so you can see. So I'm doing 15 of them. Okay, or 10, I'll do 10. And I'm not doing 10, but I'm doing 10 of them. That would be one set. And I would rest, and I'm going to do 2 sets. So I'm going to do another 10. That would be 2 sets. So I would tell you to do 8 to 15 exercises, 2 to 3 sets. So you would do it either those 15, 2 or 3 times. Does that explain it?
I think so. Thank
Okay,
you.
you're welcome.
Next, we have somebody that's wondering where to buy resistance bands from, if they could buy them at a drugstore, and how to choose which strength to start with.
Yeah, because there's different colors. Um, I love the TheraBands. Because I've seen them at a dollar store. I've seen the bands at dollar stores and different ones. They have them at Dick's. There's G&G Fitness. There's different places that have them here. You can order them online. Physical therapists have tons of bands. A lot of times they have the TheraBands, those are the standard. Um, they usually start, I told you the colors, there would be like a yellow, a red, a green, a blue, a black. They'd get darker and they'd be harder. So depending on your level of fitness, I wouldn't start off with the lightest band. They're almost too easy. For TheraBands, I usually do my classes in green. But those are something you can get. You can even do it online, looking for bands that way. But some bands are made not very good, and your green could be totally different than somebody else's green. So that's where the thing comes in. TheraBand was the standard at one point, but now there's so many out there. It's hard to figure it out. But a physical therapist would be a really great place to get one.
Thanks, Jill.
You're welcome.
So we have a couple questions about where to find your book, and one person's wondering if it's at the Buffalo and Erie County Library.
I think I did. Yes, I did. I did a book. I did a show there. They had a book thing, and I was there, and I gave them a book. I think I also gave one to the Snyder Library, so it is there. I think the book's $9.99. It's a small book. It's on Amazon also. I think you could even get it on the computer too. So, but it talks about just how important it is to move and functional fitness, and a couple exercises in there.
All right, thanks, Jill. Next we have, is working out quickly in the pool good for speed training?
You know what? I think if you get in the pool, I love the pools. The pools are good because there's resistance with the water. And if you get in the pool and you get those arms, back and forth in the pool and move your legs as you're doing it, I think you could get some of the same benefits. I think it would be really good. You would go for a couple, like 10 seconds or so, really fast going, and then stop and do it again. I think it's a great way to add if you're doing a water program now, to do it again. There's a difference between moving the hands on the top of the water and moving the hands in the water. So I would suggest get the hands in the water with the legs to add that resistance. I think you're getting some strength, and you're also getting some little bit of cardio in there. I think it's a good idea.
Thank you. Just a couple more things here.
Okay, yeah.
This was a great presentation with many helpful suggestions. I have one question. Do walkers increase bad posture?
Does walking increase it, or walker?
Walkers.
Oh, walkers. Yeah, they do. They do. Walkers are a huge, it's tough because you need a walker for your balance, but the walkers force you to hunch over. You can see me hunching over. The posture starts to go. The weight starts coming on the hands. The shoulders come forward. Your feet start to drag. Your ankles, they don't move like they should. So you start that forward posture, you start to shuffle. And over time, it gets worse and worse and worse. So, suggestion, if you need the walker, definitely go ahead and use it. People ask me about canes. Canes are okay. The problem is all that weight's on one side. I'm working with a gentleman right now. He uses a cane, and guess what we practice with? Trekking poles. I have him walk the house. I put rubber tips on the trekking poles. Posture, nice and straight, and we just go through the house. When he's going to get really good, I'm taking him outside. But right now, once again, safety is a huge concern. So if you're on a walker, just don't give somebody some trekking poles and say, go for it, go ahead. it takes some time. Some people don't like the trekking pose because both hands are, I mean, you're really, but it gets you in good posture. It forces you to walk. You don't start shuffling. It's a great way. People are sometimes, and especially in the nursing homes, I mean, they have a lot of, issues with people falling, so they do whatever they can, very quick to hand out a walker instead of doing some fitness training.
Thank
So
you,
whatever
Jill.
you can do.
There you go. The last question I'm seeing is, what is the title of your book? Can you remind us, please?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to show you. There it is. Keeping your parents active and independent. So you can see that.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Little promo for me. There you go. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so
I
now I'm
enjoyed it. This is good. I love giving people information that they can use. Never heard about speed training, and they would, they would just go, I don't need speed training. And hopefully after this presentation, they need to understand. I just don't want them to, start like sprinting across, Erie County, you know? Take it slow.
yeah, build up to the sprint. There we go.
Yes, yeah, just little movements, but just certain things I did in the chair, out of the chairs, fine.
Well, Jill, I'm seeing what great info. I'm seeing thank you. Thank you for
Ah,
all the very valuable information.
great, love it.
Oh, okay. My husband, who's 11 years older than me, watched along with me and is inspired. So that's
Oh, I love
wonderful.
inspiring. Oh, the more people I can inspire, the better. I think it's great. Just getting that information out there and sharing and letting people know. Even people go to personal trainers and they don't do speed. I mean, people don't really do that. So they're very quick to do the weights, which is great, but I'm glad people are aware of it now. Very
Yes. Well,
good.
thank you for educating us, and for everyone who's on, thank you, and everyone enjoy the rest of your day.
Will do. Thank you, Katie. You're the best.
You are, Jill.